House Republicans are demanding answers about a $35 million contract awarded to a consulting firm linked to the Biden campaign using taxpayer money from the CARES Act. The grant money was handed out by the Office of California's Secretary of State, who's said to be on the governor's short list to replace Kamala Harris in the Senate. Georgia Congressman Jody Hice is a Republican on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I want to put this homepage up of the SKDK website. This is the consulting firm we're talking about. And this website kind of really goes over how proud they are to be on Team Biden. And it's interesting because you have those on the left say, you know, this consulting firm is not just for Democrats. I mean, they have a lot of clients. They have clients in both parties. And the question here is, would you want your consulting firm to be bragging about being on Joe Biden's team if it was bipartisan?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. This is supposed to be bipartisan to begin with, but this organization is anything but bipartisan. Their website clearly communicates that they are part of Team Trump, that he's fighting for the soul of America, and the leadership of Knickerbocker are part of the advisory team of Joe Biden. I mean, this is nothing but corruption to the core, and this is precisely the type of things that make Americans sick of what's happening in Washington, D.C. and other corrupt states.
Yeah, and the question here is, Congressman, is really the basic fundamental question is, how in the world does $35 million of coronavirus money end up at a consulting firm?
Yeah, I mean, it was not supposed to. I mean, that's the whole issue. That's why we're trying to get an investigation and find out exactly the answer to that question. How in the world does this happen? This money was supposed to go in relationship to easing the pandemic, specifically as it relates to the elections coming up. None of that happened. Instead, this goes to a firm, the whole purpose of which is to influence voters and to have voter outreach, which is not allowed to take place with taxpayer money.
Yeah, you and your colleagues wrote a letter, and the urgency here is based on this, quoting here, because Secretary Padilla may become a member. He is, of course, the Secretary of State in California. Secretary Padilla may become a member of the United States Senate in a matter of days or weeks. It is critical that he provide answers about his decision to award a contract to a partisan firm that appears to be both a misuse of taxpayer money and a violation of the law. So you have Padilla, who's likely about to go to the Senate, and you would like some answers from him before he does so.
Well, and not just would I like some answers, and those of us on the committee, we're not the only one that want answers. The American public deserve answers to this. I mean, America wants and desperately needs men and women representing them in various levels of government who have integrity, people of some degree of moral standard and a moral compass. And here you have someone who himself has proven himself to be untrustworthy when it comes to taxpayer money, using funds from hard-working taxpayers across this country for the specific purpose and intent of utilizing it to help through the pandemic. Instead, he uses it for political purposes, which is against the law. If he cannot be trusted with taxpayer money in California as a Secretary of State, he most certainly cannot be entrusted with those type of monies and other important decisions that this country would require for a U.S. Senator. America needs answers. They deserve answers, and I believe this situation absolutely disqualifies him from being a senator.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. And the idea being is, you know, politically, optically, there's a lot of questions. But what about legally? Is this illegal or no?
We'll let the lawyers and so forth decide that, but just from a 30,000-foot perspective, yeah, this is illegal. You cannot use taxpayer money for political purposes like this. There are a host of issues with this, and you know, it just appears to me, someone who's not a lawyer, that yes, the activities that have taken place here certainly have smell, at least, of criminal activity.
And I got to go here, Congressman, but how did you learn about this? How did this come into play for you?
Well, you know, obviously we're part of the Oversight Committee, which is the primary investigation and the committee that has oversight over all of these types of things. Obviously, we have a number of sources and different people who we are communicating with and our staff communicates with on a regular basis. And so just from those channels that we have as the committee in charge of this type of investigation and oversight, we've been able to get this information.
Sounds like you're going to keep that information fairly close to the vest. Congressman, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.